Hello guys, welcome back to your English class. Today I'm going to explain you the past modal verb could or couldn't. It's a modal verb that describes past abilities or skills. Now we have three examples. For example, in present I can say I can swim, but we have to use could or couldn't, so you had to say I could swim. Number 2, I can't ride a bike. With could or couldn't, I couldn't ride a bike. And number 3, can you play the piano? Or the question, could you play the piano? Now, today we're going to check the verb can, but in past, could, couldn't, or could as question. Okay, here we go. We have the first three sentences. Positive sentence, I could swim when I was 12. 2, I couldn't ride a bike when I was 6. And question, could you play the piano when you were 15? Now, in this part, we're going to check the structure for these forms. A structure. In the first one, in the positive way, we have the subject. The subject can be I, you, we, they, or he, she, it, plus the modal verb, in this case, could. Now, next, the verb in infinitive, in this case, swim. Now, the clause, when, and the complement. I was 12. Now, pay attention with this part. It is not necessary to write the age that you were. You can write maybe when I was in secondary or when I went to the beach. The idea is when you use the clause when, you have to say after a sentence that means that happened in that time, but the sentence has to be in past. Okay, now, and next structure, we have negative sentence. Subject, modal verb couldn't, the verb in infinitive, ride, your clause when, and your complement. In this case, when I was 6. Okay, now, in questions, you have modal verb could, plus your subject, you, and you can say also, could I play the piano or could you play the piano? But you need to remember that if you say could I, is when you ask yourself. If you ask yourself, you can say could I play the piano? But if not, you can say could you play the piano, plus the verb in infinitive, plus your clause when, and your complement when you were 15 years old, and don't forget your question mark. And in the last part, in my last sentence, I have the sentence when you were. In the first one, was, and were. As a review, don't forget we use were for plural subjects, you, we, and they, and we use was for I, she, he, or it. Okay, now let's continue. We have two exercises. The first one says exercise could or couldn't. Now we have the first sentence that it says when I was young, and you have to complete with the right word, could or couldn't. When I was young, I played the guitar. It was too difficult for me. In this case, it means that it wasn't possible for you. That's why we have to use I couldn't. When I was young, I couldn't play the guitar. It was difficult for me. Number 2. Her grandmother was bilingual. So she could speak both languages, English or Spanish. Okay. Now Next one we have, yesterday Peter do exercise alone, so he called me for help. So it means that he wasn't able to do that. So that's why we use couldn't. Peter couldn't do exercise alone. The next one. For in 1950, people use mobile phones. Could or couldn't? Couldn't. Okay. In 1950, people couldn't use mobile phones. Now the next one. When his mother was young, she escaped, but she can't do it any longer. Okay? What is the correct option? Could. She could it at first, but now she's a little bit older. That's why she can't. But at first she could. Now in number 6 we have, we opened the door. It was locked from inside. Now it was locked, so we couldn't open the door. Why? Because it was locked from inside. And in the year 1900, people could or couldn't watch color TV. In this case, couldn't. Why couldn't? Because it was impossible. Okay, now we're going to check the next exercise. We have 9 sentences, and the idea is you have to write next to the sentences on the lines the right sentence. You have to order the words, and you have to write positive sentences, negative sentences, or question sentences. For example, the first one says, the guitar play couldn't Olivia. Now, your sentence is negative, so you have to write Olivia couldn't play the guitar. We have Olivia couldn't play the guitar because it's negative. You have the word negative, couldn't. Now, number 2, play could the girls question mark the hockey. So it's a question, so you have to start with could. Could the girls play hockey? Could the girls, subject, the verb play, and the complement hockey. Number 3, trumpet play Richard could question mark the. It's another question. What is the correct sentence? Could Richard play the trumpet? We have could, subject Richard, play the verb in infinitive, the trumpet, and the question mark. Now, in number 4, we have left, she, hand, right, could with her. Now, it's positive sentence. You have to start with she. She plus could. She could write. She could write with her left hand. Okay? Now, the next one. 5. Could stories write he good? It's positive sentence. You have to write he could, verb, write good stories. He could write good stories. We have he could write good stories. Now, in number 6, we have question. Articles, question mark, could Alex write? What is the correct sentence? Could Alex write articles? Number 7, spaghetti, Henry couldn't cook. It's a negative sentence. You have to start with Henry couldn't cook spaghetti. Henry couldn't cook spaghetti. Number 8, well, could they cook? It's positive sentence. So you have to start with they could cook well. They could cook well. And the last one, we have sushi, question mark, Carol could cook. What is the correct question? Could Carol cook sushi? Okay? Pay attention with this exercise because you are going to do a similar exercise on your book. Don't forget to check this part. Okay? You have to check if your sentence has couldn't, negative. It has a question mark, positive, or it has just could, but not a question mark. It's a positive sentence. Okay? Now, it's an extra activity. On your notebook, you have to write 10 things that you could do in the past. For example, when I was 10, I could watch TV all day, but I didn't do it, or I stopped to do it now. And I could play American football when I was in preparatory. The idea is you have to describe 10 things that you did or you used to did in the past, but now you couldn't. Okay, that's all for me, guys. Thanks for your attention. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to take the photos from these activities on your notebook. Write your name, and that's all. Thank you.